AI changed buyer conversations, and what should selling professionals be doing about it?
Yeah, sure. So I think there's two sides of the equation. The buyer conversation, AI is being adopted very quickly. I think if you look at industry innovations, the cell phone, internet, a variety of technologies, the adoption rate of AI is surpassed everything, I think, out there in most industries in history. And so our government users, our customers are using it more frequently for lots of different use cases. So how do we engage with them to understand where their relevance is in your technology? For us in the cyberspace, it's created a new landscape, a new threat vector, if you will. Humans were the most attacked vector for many, many years. That's been our focus. Now AI is generating this extremely large new landscape, if you will, of things to think about in the threat world. So our customers are no longer worried about the technology and humans and things that they do. It's how AI agents are going to create new risks around their enterprise or cybersecurity challenges. So that's the conversation we're having, is pivoting towards what this new frontier looks like for them. How do we solve for that problem? And it comes with a lot of different, similar to your points of outcome-based. What outcome or problem are we going to solve for you? Not a feature functionality on how to support AI. So that's one of it. The other piece, and then I think we'll get into this later, is how as we sales professionals are we leveraging and adapting AI to become more efficient, which is a whole other topic. But I'll pause there and pass it to you, Cyril.
So give us some of your insights, Brian Kane, about translating technical complexity into business value, specifically for the federal government customer.
Yeah, sure. I think the theme here in general, how do we deliver value or an outcome or a solution or ROI to our customers? That's utopia for both sides. If I can walk in the door to a customer meeting, prospect meeting, and say, I know you have these challenges, we can support your requirements, and here's the outcome we can deliver, and you can back that up with some sort of tangible ROI or other metrics. Our company has invested heavily in an organization we call the Value Management Office, and it helps our sellers be prepared to walk in a room before a meeting or after initial engagement, or perhaps after a proof of concept. But the objective is to understand the mission, the requirement. The objective is the technical complexity of the project or whatever it is. And we've got some tools that we've built that allow us to plug in some basic data points, and it spits out a pretty complex ROI statement that we call a business value assessment. That business value assessment is just a draft that you then tweak and customize based on feedback and engagement you have with the customer. But the process is the same. Being prepared to walk in a room to talk to a customer about what their complex problems are, how we can solve for that, and show them that outcome, whether it be a solution that reduces risk or saves them time, energy, and money with incident response or SOC and operations costs. But that business value assessment is a tool we use that helps our sellers be more prepared when you walk in the door to have tangible evidence of an outcome based on a complex technical requirement. So that's part of what we do. And again, it all leads back to being prepared walking in the room, knowing your customer as best you can, but validating what you believe to be true and getting that buy-in from your customer that is their problem and here's a solution that we can deliver an outcome towards.
What is your recommendation for the audience? How do you build credibility and show customers that you know their mission and business needs better than anybody? Here has any competitors, obviously. Give us your insights. And write this down if you haven't been writing down.
Yeah, I think credibility and trust in our industry and our profession is huge. Without that, you're never going to be very successful. So establishing trust and credibility takes a long time, and there's lots of different ways to gain that. Reference selling, relationship networking. If you know somebody that knows somebody, it just helps soften a door to open up. But once you've established that trust and credibility, the flip side of that, it takes a split second to lose it. We have a team of folks on our selling group, if you will. You have an account manager, you've got a sales engineer, you've got a specialist, you've got customer support management, you've got customer success people. Everybody that touches your customer or your partner should have the same level of expectations. And if you don't set that expectation across your team for those who touch your customer, your credibility and trust can go away in a heartbeat if they're not managing to expectations that you manage and control. Because as an account executive, you set the tone. You're the quarterback. If you call the right play and nobody knows how to run the play or execute the play or deliver on that, it's going to be a problem down the road. But that partnership down the road of maintaining that credibility once you've established it is critically important in your profession.
what's a big mistake that you see cyber reps making repeatedly, or B2B or B2G selling professionals?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest mistakes is not establishing the right champion in your customer. Everybody says, with no champion, no deal. A lot of reps I see out there, they think they've got a champion. They think that person they're engaging with is the person that has the most influence, both economic or technically. And oftentimes that they're mistaken, or things have changed, or they just don't truly understand the role or responsibility of the people they're dealing with. But finding that champion, making sure it's the right champion is one of the keys to success. Without that, there's a lot of deals that go sideways because that person was not personally bought in and didn't have the influence to make that acquisition.
What's one habit that has helped you set yourself apart? Again, you're all top sales professionals, leaders in the industry. What's a habit that you have enabled that has helped you get to the level where you are?
I think as a sales leader, or sales manager, oftentimes the team that you support comes to you with problems all the time. We're fixing problems, we're whack-a-moling things that are broken or need to be escalated. And I've sort of developed a habit to not try to solve for everything. It's almost, listen, understand what the problem is, and almost try to empower the team to determine what the solution should be themselves. It's a reverse engineer of I'm not solving the problem for them, but I'm helping them understand ways to go figure out how to solve it themselves. So, sometimes I need to get involved and deal with an escalation, but a habit I've developed is listen, understand. If you can coach them sort of how to solve it themselves versus them relying on you to solve a problem for, when something pops up. It's sort of a behavior management change that I've developed a habit to kind of flip it to see how I can empower them to solve for things that come up in the future.
All right, gentlemen, let's just wrap it up. 30 seconds, your final message to the audience. Whatever you haven't said that you want to get across to these enthusiastic, energetic selling professionals. Who here wants to take your sales career to the next level? Okay, very, very good. All right, give me your final thoughts. Sir, why don't you go with us? You start and bring it back this way. Final thought, what do you need to get across? 30 seconds or less.
Yeah, this is a journey. I don't think there's really a finish line here. You're becoming a student of your profession and continuing to develop your craft. You'll shift from one company to another. You'll have a different value proposition. You might be with a reseller versus an OEM, but continue to strive to just educate yourself on what you can do to improve your craft. I think borrow professional success from others who have done it before you. Don't there's a lot of resources out there. There's a lot of people that want to help young professionals because we're going to hire a lot of you someday, but we want you to be successful. So, find folks that have been successful, mirror what they do, ask them questions, find mentors or sales coaches or professional coaches. It goes a long way to help develop your career.